Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I'm Aaron Loomis, and with me, as always, is June Liu. How you doing, June?
Good. Woke up half an hour ago.
Yeah, this is a rare early morning video session for us. Google had some issues last night, so kind of kept us from doing what we needed to do. So
Cool.
picking up early the next day to get it going. So we'll see how this goes. Today we are talking about the Southern Draw Kudzu Axil Lancero. The cigar is 6.5 inches by 40 ring gauge. Comes out of the Tabacalera Fernandez factory in Nicaragua. Wrapper is Ecuadorian Habano Oscuro. Binders from Ometepe, and the filler is Nicaraguan. Blended by Robert Holt, and price point is $8.99. And the cigar was released in August of 2016. So with all the cigar details out of the way, let's get into our experience. So June, what was your pre-light experience like with this cigar?
Starting from the presentation of the cigar, I thought the wrapper had a rich, leathery kind of a squirrel tone to it. Things as well as the seams, it was it wasn't perfect, but it was for the most part well pressed and fairly seamless. There was quite a bit of a spongy give to the entire cigar, and that got me thinking. Hopefully, no issues with the draw. There was no tightness around the head or anything. So, but I also kind of got me thinking. Well, hopefully this doesn't burn too fast because it was significantly spongier than most cigars feel. Head finish off with a really well applied, a very thick double cap. Moving on to the nosing experience. Smelling the wrapper, I got some a mixture of barnyard and cedar. And smelling that foot, the entire foot is enclosed. So all I was able to get was some a slightly nose tingling white pepper, some sweet cedar. On the cold draw, I got some hay, lip, tongue, kind of a tingling, like a zippy kind of a black pepper, and my typical dry cardboard that I get. So overall, a well presented pre-light experience.
Mhm. Yeah, wrapper was a deep reddish brown, and kind of was like a shade lighter as it got closer to the head. Um, the cigar was very rustic looking and had some prominent veins that were carrying a lighter color to them, and there were a couple of wrinkles on the wrapper as well. The seams aren't that visible, just kind of due to how rugged the wrapper looks. It's like there's already some wrinkles and things like that, so it's kind of hard to tell where the seam is versus just a wrinkle or something like that. Appeared to be a double cap. Had like a flag on top of the head. Foot's enclosed with excess wrapper that's folded over. Two bands, the standard Southern Draw band, and then a secondary one that denoted the Kudzu Axil. The aroma from the wrapper was a very distinct barnyard for me, and the aroma from the foot was pretty much the same, just because due to it being having a folded over wrapper. There was a little bit of additional sweetness that I was getting there as well. Pre-light draw was a mix of leather, sweet hay, and pepper, and it was a pretty good spicy tingle that I was getting on my lips there as well. So getting into flavor, first third to final third, what was your experience like?
When I first lit the cigar, I got a huge amount of drying black pepper as well as like a slightly gritty drying earthiness, and those two flavors really took over the whole palate and really engulfed the palate. So reaching a little deeper within the spice and earth, I got a subtle creaminess to it and a sweetness. So that really helped kind of taper back the dominance of the spice and earthiness. Half an inch in, I started to get some airy breadiness in, as well as like a dry wood. So that kind of gives it another depth of flavors, I felt. On the retro, just absolutely Norse scorching black pepper, followed by some like cedar and bitter nuts. Finish long and strong, thick black pepper, and dry wood. Body somewhere in the medium mark between within the whole first third and strength. After just about like an inch in, it went from medium to medium full pretty quick. Moving on to the second third, I'd say the most notable change from first to second is the decrease in the black pepper. But although the pepper was still a key feature of the entire flavor profile, I felt like it was at that point better melded with the other flavors. So specifically within the other flavors, I started getting smoky wood, some increased levels of cream, and then the bread becoming less airy and just more of a condensed bread note. On the retrohale, balanced mixture of black pepper, bread, cedar. Finish was still lengthy, but now with tapered black pepper, wood bitterness, cedar, and a faint dry nuttiness. Body and strength continue to be on the medium full, medium for body and medium full for strength. Moving on to the last third. Really no changes to report, of what I tasted on the last third. The only thing, I got pretty much exactly the same thing as the second third, other than the fact that I felt like the bread note at times kind of was more intense, or not more intense, but rather it popped a little bit more. But that was more like in an intermittent fashion. So nothing that was like on a consistent basis. But a good thing, because I like bready notes in general in cigars.
Yeah.
So all in all, it's kind of like the cigar kind of reminded me of like when I first started smoking cigars. I smoked a lot of cigars like this, in which initially you get that pepper pop, and then the blend kind of melts better together, and then you get more of the cream and more of a balance. So it kind of brought me back to smoking actually smoking some of the AJ stuff back in the day when I first started, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
No, what about you?
Yeah, when I lit it up, I got like an intense mix of cinnamon and wood, and then half an inch in that same intense cinnamon and wood was remaining. The retrohale was carrying that same profile of cinnamon and wood. 3/4 of an inch in, a little bit of cream joined in, so that cut down on the intensity of the cinnamon, and it created a really nice balance of flavors. 1.25 inches, the cinnamon recedes to the background, and that creamy wood really comes up front. And then as the third was finishing, the cream really ramped up and became the primary note, and the wood was now kind of a secondary component. But there was still a little bit of that cinnamon in the background, and the strength was just slightly above medium. And then getting into the second third, the wood increased to kind of come back even with the cream, and there was still a little bit of that cinnamon on the finish. Retrohale is a very creamy wood, and then at 3/4 of an inch in, I got a slight vegetal note that kind of joined in with that creamy wood and the cinnamon finish. Then an inch in, even with that cream present, the profile was becoming a little bit drying for me. And then 1.5 inches, the cream really just kind of went away, and that drying wood became a little bit more defined as oak, and that moved up to the front. There was still a slight vegetal note, but the cinnamon had gone away. Third was into a finish. It was a little bit less drying. It was still primarily oak, a little bit of cream, and a little bit of that vegetal note. And the strength had dropped down just a little bit to be right at medium. And then getting into the final third, very full oak, still slightly drying. The vegetal note, it's in the background on the finish. And then at 1/4 inch in, the oak gained a bit of toast and some bitterness that joined in. And then 1 inch in, that cigar began to warm up, which was kind of enhancing that toasty oak note. And there was still a little bit of bitterness in the profile, though, but it wasn't really a bad thing in my eyes. And then as the cigar was coming to a close, a little bit of cream came back in, so that pushed out the bitterness, and it was kind of pairing well with that toasty oak note. And the strength kind of went right back up to that slightly above medium range for me. So getting into performance, burn and draw, what was your experience like?
Burn and draw both was really good. I rated both our best score, which is the amazing score. To burn, I smoked this. It's like, for the most part, like a smaller version of a Lancero, right?
Right.
I got 2 hours and 10 minutes out of it, which is really good, I think. Burn line was razor sharp the whole time. Ash held on strong, although it didn't hold on for large amounts of increments. I only had about typically 1/2 inch to 1 inch, but there was no flowering of the ash or anything, so it was all good.
Mm-hmm.
Draw, no issues. Perfect amount of resistance for me, and actually for this particular example, I just kind of used my fingers and I kind of snapped into the tapered head.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing that, I got really good draw, and then I actually cut it down the road. But
right.
it was good.
Yeah, there was a little bit of waviness to the burn, but it always kept up with itself. And the ash held on for me on like 3/4 inch segments, so that was really good. For a Lancero. Um, Draw was just a little slightly tighter than I prefer, but it easily let me get all the flavors from the cigar. So it's just a little variation on what I prefer. So it's nothing bad. It's just a slight tightness for me, but it still worked out well. So what were your thoughts overall on the cigar?
Um, so I did some. I wasn't when I after I smoked this and I was writing up the overall experience notes. I was looking through to find out if this Kudzu was the same blend as the other Kudzu Vitolas,
Mm-hmm.
or was it like a completely reblend? I mean, given that it's a Vitola, it is a reblend technically, right?
Right.
But was it kind of? Did Robert try to make it in line with the other Vitolas? Is basically what I was trying to find out.
Mm-hmm.
After looking at like Half Wheel Coupe, even Toasted Foot, I didn't really find anything to say that it was or it wasn't.
Right.
So I assume that it was. So based upon that, and just kind of, I was trying to draw on rough memory of the other Vitolas that I smoked in the Kudzu line, and I find this one to be, for the most part, I thought it was deeper in flavors. I thought it was a bit more pronounced and nuanced in flavors, and with enough transitions to keep you engaged throughout the entire cigar.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. It was interesting because when I was scoring the first, second, and last third of the flavor profile, this one I kept thinking about if it should toggle between the good and the very good range.
Right.
I ultimately settled with good all across the scoreboard because I kind of felt like to make it truly very good, I'm going to need more of a pronounced like sweet creaminess or perhaps a little bit of a stone a fruit factor in there, and just kind of more nuance in general. But
Mm-hmm.
although I did feel like it was nuanced enough, right?
Right.
The next time I smoked this, because it kind of delivered, more that earthiness and that spice-driven profile. Every time I have a cigar that's kind of like this, I love smoking it after like a really nice, steak or like a pork chop or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to do that next time. Luckily, we got a few more of these, and I'm going to do that.
Yep. Yeah, I got some. I just like the really nice full flavors I was getting from the cigar with that cinnamon and the wood initially, and then it kind of settled into that more of that creamy woodiness with that nice vegetal note. The strength might be up there a little bit for some, but for people that enjoy medium strength kind of profile, this is gonna fit their profile. I think this is another nice addition to the Southern Draw portfolio, and a good Lancero is always always something to look forward to. So it's always a plus. So, I'm definitely going to be smoking more of these, and I think it's an easy recommend for other people to try it out, especially Lancero fans. It's full of flavors. Construction's fantastic, so it's not going to be a battle for you. So you're really just going to be able to sit back and kind of focus on what the flavor profile that you get is. So let's get into our scores. You gave this a 7.33. I gave this a 7 even. How do you think your score matches up with your experience?
It fared really well. I mean, I within that 7, qualitatively, I'm thinking it's a good cigar, right? But in which that was the first, second, to last rating was good, and you compound that by amazing scores in the construction realm. It really taps right into the high end of the good for me. So, go with that score makes sense.
Yeah, I think my matches up well. I mean, 7 is just crests into that really good, starting to get really good scores. So this is a very flavorful cigar, very enjoyable. Another, like I said, nice addition to the Southern Draw portfolio. It's just a really tasty cigar. Price point's good. So all lots of good factors there. So I definitely say that people should seek these out, pick some up, give it a try, see if you fit your wheelhouse, and then you maybe go buy some more. Any other final thoughts?
No, I think this is a winner. They're definitely worthwhile to try, like you were saying.
Yep. All right, well, thank you for watching. If you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube and be sure to follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google+. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you on the next video.